employment services for individuals with disabilities. I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me is Joanne Appelt. She is Assistant Executive Director of Business Development for Community Access Unlimited. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about the work that you do related to employment. You as an organization have a wide variety of services, but when it comes to jobs, the individuals that you work with want meaningful employment. They want to work, but they may need supports.
Yes, and people with disabilities are by and large underemployed as compared to the general population. In the general population, you generally see about 75 to 80% of the people in the workforce. For people with disabilities, you're more in the 25 to 35% range, even though a lot of them work and can contribute. So what we do is we help people with any type of disability be able to fit into some sort of job in the community so that they can be productive and give back.
And with that, you have everything from employment services to job coaching to job sampling. Talk to us a little bit about the types of opportunities that are available for people who do want to work, who do want to explore their talents.
Well, most people, number one, would rather work than be on some state aid or some type of government aid, number one. And they really appreciate when they get the job. But we have, for people coming in who are just graduating from high school, we have a continuing education, Academy for Continuing Education that gives them job skills and some job training. We have interviewing, for resume building. We have a network of employers so that you can go job sampling for a job that you might want. We do testing in terms of career interests and abilities and things like that, so it's a good match. We're really a broker between the person with disabilities and the employer in terms of what each side wants and how to make a win-win relationship.
You mentioned the employers and that you do have a network of employers. What are some of the benefits for employers of hiring the individuals that you work with, individuals who are looking for jobs?
Well, number one, since they're so underemployed and jobs are hard to get, they're very loyal. They're extremely loyal. And the retention rate is very, very high, which is, of course, saves the employer money. The other thing is that for a person with intellectual disabilities, they need repetitive tasks, but they don't get bored by them. You know, so they can do, when they're shown how to do something once or twice or maybe 3 or 4 times, once they've got it, and they'll do it to a T over and over and over again.
And when we are talking about employers, you do have a network of employers, but you're always looking for additional ones to become involved. But you as an organization are looking to hire as well. Talk to us a little bit about the opportunities there.
Yes, well, we have about 1,100 full and part-time employees. We are open 24/7 a day for our residential services. We need everything from accountants to nurses to behaviorists to support workers to marketing people to anything that it would take in a community or a large company to do. We are the 5th largest employer in Union County, and if you want more job information, we hold a job fair, so to speak. We call it an open house every Monday at 4 o'clock at 80 West Grand Street in Elizabeth.
And people can visit you there or reach out through your website or give you a call for more information?
Yes, they can reach out to our website, go to the Looking for Employment section and fill out the application, and our Human Resources Department will get back with you.
Thanks so much for being with us.
Oh, you're welcome.
We've been talking with Joanne Appelt. She is the Assistant Executive Director of Business Development for Community Access Unlimited. I'm Jill Horner.
The second half of this week's show, I'm pleased to be joined by Mr. Sid Blanchard, who's the President and Executive Director of Community Access. Sid, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I don't know if I got your titles right because you probably have enough of them over there at Community Access, right?
I'm Executive Director. I'm just a hired hand, but the founder of Community Access Unlimited back in 1979.
Yeah, so Sid, tell us a little about yourself, because you have a storied history in our city on helping those that are mentally challenged. So if you can please give a little quick background.
Sure. I was born in Elizabeth General Hospital, now Trinitas.
You showed me the house.
I did. My picture of my mom, who's 95, she found the picture of her holding me in the driveway of a house. My father were renting the second floor back in 1953. I was really happy to be able to come back in a Volkswagen back into Union County to help people with developmental disabilities, also young people that are part of the child welfare system. The people with disabilities, to bring them back home from institutions that they were sent away with when they were younger, bring them back into the community, and also to provide support to hundreds of individuals in the community that have disabilities and need that extra help in order to become independent tax-paying citizens and contributing to the community.
Now, Community Access Unlimited is not the original name. How did you get to be Community Access Unlimited?
Originally, we were AAMH, Association for Advancement of Mentally Handicapped. That was a very progressive name in the 1970s, but today, mentally handicapped is pejorative. Somebody that's called mentally handicapped would be insulted. And so when we moved into our current office at 80 West Grand Street, we changed our name to what we do, Community Access Unlimited. It's community should be accessible to all people, and all people should be able to become tax-paying, independent, living in the community, and giving back to the community as well.
And Sid, one of the things that you've done is not only work with those folks, but you're here 35 years. So you've shown a great staying power. Tell us a little bit about those 35 years and how you've been able to maintain such a focus and a growth in your community organization.
Well, Community Access started literally out of my car with a $90,000 budget.
I know you joked about it in the beginning, but we always talk about that at any event. It's, hey, did you see Sid's Volkswagen?
I'm by heart a community organizer, and building community has always been near and dear to me. It's not just something that's a profession, it is who I am. And the very nature of building community, building relationships, helping people help each other, and strengthening the quality of life for everybody, including myself. I get as much as I give from the very people that I support. So today we support probably about 5,500 people statewide, 1,000 people in Union County, many in the city of Elizabeth, which is the county seat and the largest city in Union County, fourth largest in the state. We go into people's homes. We help people have homes. We help people get jobs. We help people have a life, recreational life, a social life, help them to become active citizens who are very participating in voting in elections and having things to say to build the quality of life for everybody. Having proper roads, street signs, lights in the proper intersections are quality of life that affects everybody, and working with the whole community, along with people with disabilities as well as families who have youth in the child welfare system. We're very engaged in a Union County interfaith movement of many ministries throughout Union County to help build community, build congregation, build meaning to each person's life, and have respect and treat each other as valued human beings. This is what makes me tick. 35 years has been actually a joy.
Where'd the time go, Sid? Because I met you 30 years ago. I didn't meet you 35, but I probably met you 28 or 30 years ago.
It has been.
Yeah, and it's where'd the time go?
I know, and it's one of those things that I would say 90% of the time I get up in the morning and I want to go do what I do. The other 10%, I don't want to talk about. But
we always have those days.
90%'s an A when I went to school.
But Sid, so your business model is interesting for a community service organization. And the reason I said that is I've heard you speak and I've read your brochures where you own a lot of the property that you've helped develop in order to make sure those that struggle with issues are able to be assimilated into society. How did you go about that process? Because it's an interesting business model that not a lot of nonprofits follow.
Sure. Back in the 1980s, we used to rent a lot of housing with the people that we were supporting, and we would be their backup so they could get leases. However, it was the whole housing crisis of the 1980s that a lot of people have forgotten about, the savings and loans crisis. Affordable, safe housing was taken out of the marketplace. And in order to provide services to the poorest of the poor, because the people that are my constituents are the poorest of the poor, I had to go back and educate myself on real estate and wound up doing a 3-year capital campaign, raised $90,000, and was able to take that $90,000 and leverage it into over $50,000 worth of real estate today with very little to no debt on it. And it's been a rather creative way of doing housing, in part using government money. We don't use government money anymore to do that because we use the same techniques that real estate people do. But instead of buying yachts and houses down in LBI, we put it back into the community and help to develop more and help to support more people.
And if you look at the money you're putting back into it, you drive by your offices on West Grand, you can see that you're going through a major expansion. Tell us about what's going on in the building aspect at West Grand Street.
Yeah, over the last couple of years, we decided that we needed to have more affordable housing, but we also needed to build another administrative building because we outgrew where we are. So we have a 60,000 square foot building going up 5 floors. First 2 floors have an auditorium with a staging that will hold 450 seats, 450 people with sliding doors so they can break into conferences and workshops. The second floor has a cafeteria, both these to serve people not only on the other 3 floors, which are our employees, but also to open up to the community. While we've been in Elizabeth at 80 West Grand Street, we have birthed a number of churches that needed a place to start. And they've gone to build congregation and move out into Elizabeth and other churches that have been available and build their own communities. And we want to be able to be that incubator to not only help the people that we're supporting, but also the community and build support among the community. It's our real commitment to build Elizabeth, which I love. It's where I was born, to help bring foot traffic, money from employees. We've gone to, myself in a Volkswagen, to over 1,100 employees. We're one of the largest employers, I would think, in Union County. And to bring all that income in, we do business locally on purpose. We keep things in Union County as much as in Elizabeth as possible because it stimulates the economy, it creates jobs.
Tell us about that.
Sure.
Stimulating the economy. No.
Absolutely. In order to build community has to have income. In order to have, the best way to have income is jobs. And we really focus on doing training, bringing people in locally, getting them jobs. We have every Monday from 4 to 6 open house at 1,100 employees and expanding. We try to keep that income and business as much as we can, doing our business as well as our employees within Union County and within Elizabeth, because that money will stimulate the local economy, create additional jobs, and the people that we support who are low income can get jobs as well. Start part-time to full-time, be able to get a piece of that American dream. And it's not only housing, it's jobs, and if you have your own paycheck, you absolutely are vested in building your community. You have a piece of the pie, and you want to do as much as possible to make a quality life for everybody.
Now, talking about some of your expansion and new housing projects, you have something going on Cherry Street in our city, and you also have something going on in Fanwood and Scotch Plains. Yeah. Are they similar development projects, and how do they work within your core mission?
They absolutely are similar. On Cherry Street, there's 12 units of housing. People with disabilities use a couple of those units, and the other units are rented out to moderate and regular income individuals. Part of the the building is non-taxable, which I know you don't want to hear, and the rest is taxable. And the people that are there on moderate regular income are paying regular rent, and that money goes back into building additional services and as well as housing for poor people. In the basement, we have the Academy for Continuing Education for people with disabilities, for after-school programs. We have a number of sites that we're building throughout the county and the state, but Elizabeth is the incubator. We have a healthcare service firm that has trained over 40 people to become homemaking services, personal care attendants, and we're building a whole infrastructure within Union County to help seniors as well as people with disabilities that have services come into their home and provide those supports that they need to maintain their homes.
Sid, before we close, I want to talk about one of the things that's happening in the state is the state development centers are closing. The governor has closed down some of these centers. We read an awful lot about parents who think this is the worst thing in the world because their kids have functioned extremely highly in areas outside of our state. What happens here in New Jersey when the governor makes those decisions?
Well, there's over a dozen states that have no institutions. New Jersey happens to have the third most number of people in institutions in the country. A lot of the people there have no business being there. They shouldn't be there. Services can be provided in the community, and for many people with disabilities who never went into the institutions, they have equal or more intense behavioral, medical challenges and support needs than people that are in institutions. Some of the concerns that families have with their sons and daughters or significant others in institutions are valid. They need to know that there are supports in the community that are going to be there, not go away.
And it can happen here in New Jersey.
Oh, yes,
Right.
Absolutely. In New Jersey, not out of state. There's been some abuse that the newspapers have not talked about for some of the out-of-state people. There was one big spread of somebody living in Texas. Well, all I had to do was Google where that person was living, and it was a huge ranch. Taxpayers were paying for somebody to live in a huge ranch who could function as well as you or I in the community. And their parents were upset because they were going to retire there at the ranch at taxpayer dollars. How's that working? So we need to really look at all the issues, be sensitive to the families because they have legitimate concerns about supports, and provide those supports. The issue of supports, not where people are living as far as large buildings, institutions, but supports in the community, being part of the community and be able to contribute back to the community. That's really the key.
The future of community access?
We're going to continue doing what we're doing and continue to build community in Elizabeth, Union County, and throughout the state, because unless all the people here in this state band together to help each other, nobody's really going to be helped, except maybe the 1% that go to Wall Street.
And Sid, how do people get referred to your organization?
People can come to us through the State Division of Developmental Disabilities, the Department of Children and Families. They can contact us at 908-354-3040, or they can go onto our website at www.caunj.org.
Sid, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us on the show this evening and share a little bit about not only your personal experiences, but the growth of community access here in our city.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Thank you, Sid. For Sid Blanchard and Community Access, and for the first segment of the show, Miss Winona Ankrum and Miss Elaine Johnson, I'm Chris Bolwage, and we'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.
Where will the next generation of scientists come from? Right here. Kane University.
Welcome to another edition of Our City. As we leave February, African American History Month, we move into March, Women's History Month. And a few things going around the city of Elizabeth this week is from Wednesday, March 1st to Friday, March 3rd, I'm going to attend the U.S. Conference of Mayors meeting where we're going to talk about issues that affect mayors throughout the country. And one of them is the proposed $1 trillion infrastructure investment from the president. So hopefully that happens and the money can flow to the cities where projects can get done. And on Monday, March 6th at 5 o'clock, I'm going to attend a Women's History Month celebration. Councilwoman Patricia Perkins Auguste has been a main mover in this for many, many years. It's going to be held at Dolce Restaurant, located at 17 Broad Street in the city of Elizabeth. So if you need more information concerning these events or any other events, please call our public information office at 908-820-4124. Please stay with us after a brief message.
Sometimes you learn by helping others learn. CAU University.
Welcome back to our city, where I'm pleased to be joined on this week's show by Ms. Joanne Oppelt, who is the Assistant Executive Director and Business Development for Community Access Unlimited. Joanne, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So tell us a little about yourself. First of all, how long you've been with Community Access? Where do you hail from? What's going on?
Well, I've been with Community Access for 10 years, but not for the last 5. I was there from 2002 to 2011 as their development director. I left to become an executive director of a small suicide prevention agency, and now I'm back.
Okay, and are you a Jersey girl?
No, actually, I was born in Connecticut. I'm a Navy brat.
Oh, you are? So you
Yes.
bounced around as a kid?
I bounced around through all the Navy bases.
You did?
Yes.
What was that like growing up?
Let's just say that I learned to make really good relationships, and I get the itches after 2 years and after 5 years and after 7 years to make major changes.
So even as an adult, you see that in your works thing.
Yes.
You kind of wanted to move on.
Yes.
And do. So do you still have any friends from bouncing around as a kid way back then?
Oh, just from high school.
Just, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it had to be hard to maintain all that, but
Yeah.
that's pretty good. So Community Access, you were there for 10 years. You've been there for 5. I know the history of Community Access, but maybe you can share your history or the history of Community Access in relation to your history through the years at your employment there.
Well, one of the things that really impresses me about Community Access is the strict adherence to mission. And our name says it all, Community Access Unlimited. We want community access for all, both on the individual level and at the organizational level. And I think really in the past 5 years, the biggest difference that I have seen is going from being primarily Union County based to statewide, offering statewide services, and B, to really being able to capitalize on community integration and community partnerships on an organizational level that we've been able to do.
So talk about that community integration, because the original name of Community Access was the Association for the Advancement of the Mentally Handicapped, and then it changed into Community Access. And that integration, I'm sure you run into some not only impediments legally, but impediments in society. How do you overcome some of that stuff?
Well, what we do, the first thing that it's not the first, we provide comprehensive services to people with all kinds of disabilities. It doesn't matter if it's developmental or if it's physical or if it's mental or emotional. We really serve the gamut, and we go from mild to severe. So we look at our housing strategy, for example, which is a scattered site approach, so that we will buy 1 or 2 or have a person with disabilities in 1 or 2 condos in a 20-unit condo association, or 1 house in a neighborhood, so that we really integrate with the community. We also have a network with the Union County Interfaith Coordinating Council to really integrate people into the faith communities, which is often overlooked for people with developmental disabilities and other people with physical disabilities, really, who have transportation issues and things like that at getting places. We do a lot of advocacy in terms of of parks and sidewalks and just kind of the physical aspects of how easy it is to get around a community in development as having a disability. And we also do like plays. The CAU Community Players was established in 2012, and we draw from a regional, several county area for actors and musicians to participate in that, and there are people with disabilities and people without.
So tell us about, how do you find the clients that you service? Do they knock on your door? I mean, it's not like CAU is out there advertising in newspapers or things like that. So how do they find you through word of mouth or social service agencies?
They do. We serve people who both have Medicaid and who are on state rolls. The state is going from a prospective contract-based payment system to a fee-for-service payment system where people will have more choice in who their providers are and what services they're getting. So we've been gearing up for the last 2-3 years in terms of really becoming a known entity in Elizabeth and Union County and statewide for people with any kind of disability. There's also a significant number of people with disabilities who do not qualify for state programs or do not qualify for Medicaid. We're also open to those people and members of their family as well.
So tell us about a few things that are currently going on at Community Access.
Oh gosh, there's so much going on at Community Access.
There is, but we want to hear it from you.
So in March, we're having a CAU Community Network meeting where twice a year we get together in the spring and the fall. A large part of our business community and the community partners that we do business with and who donate to us and who have other types of partnerships with us. I'm sure you've been to one or two of them in the past couple years. We just got done with singles night because we celebrate relationships. If you're in a relationship or if you're not in a relationship, we will have couples night in March. We just had a big Valentine's Day party. Our play will be produced in June. We have a nice alliance with well, we have the space now because we just built a new building to do the auditorium and to do the practices at our site in Elizabeth, and then have a relationship with the Springfield High School to produce on their project, and that's coming up in June.
So who coordinates all that, Joanne? Does that fall on your shoulders, or is it a team effort to coordinate?
It really is a team effort, and that's one thing that I really appreciate about Community Access too, is that we do work together as a team, and it's wonderful to see for such a large organization how on the ground it is and how much team building and teamwork there is.
And you talked about the plays a moment ago.
Yes.
Do you get involved in that aspect of it, or are you just a watcher like somebody like me?
I'm just a watcher.
Okay.
But I'll send you an invitation.
Okay, do that, please. How many total members of the community does Community Access serve?
Statewide, about 8,000.
That many?
Yes.
That's not all with living quarters. That's also other advocacy issues, correct?
Correct. Those are in-home. We can go into a home and support somebody in their home. That's respite care. That's elder care. That's child. I don't want to say child care, but serving children who have disabilities as well.
So tell the viewers about what type of the support programs and services you do. Like, what is elder care? Do you actually go there? Do you sit with the person? What do you exactly do during elder care or child care? Tell our viewers what you do.
Well, one of the newer initiatives that we have is a healthcare service firm. It was accredited by the Board of Nursing and by the healthcare body, I forgot the name of it, in August. And we offer home health aid services through, and we do things like care management or behavior management, dementia, Alzheimer's care, respite care for caregivers who need a break. errands, transportation to medical appointments, those sorts of things. And we can do it for a short period of time, like after you're adjusting from a hospitalization, to a longer period of time if you have an elder or an older person in your community with dementia. We can also, because we run a property firm, can also do auxiliary services like yard work or snow removal or home repair, which we have a demand for as well. And in addition to that, we run a home health aid certification training program where we certify people in the community to go out and be home health aides.
So you actually certify other clients that you're working with to be the health aid people?
Or to get competitive employment with someone other than us, yes.
And how does that work? How does that go? I mean, not everybody is fit for doing that, right? So do you got to tell people no? You know, I'm talking about your clients.
The home health aid training people? Right. Yeah, there's a week-long training program, and that pretty much weeds people out if it's for them or not for them. But there's that's something that we do.
So let's talk about a new program or some new program or service that Community Access is starting to offer now.
Well, the healthcare service firm is one of them, and the home health aid training program. We're also doing a lot with the play, which we have been doing since 2012. Aladdin's coming up. We're doing Aladdin Junior this year in June. We're on the roll with, because we're always growing, we're always looking for people to join our family, so to speak, both in terms of people that we serve, in terms of staff, in terms of community partners, in terms of donors, in terms of business services.
So providing members, we hear this term a lot, quality of life.
Yes.
Yeah. What is the definition, or how do you reach the quality of life benefits? How do you know that you're really helping some folks?
Well, we survey our clients, and we ask our clients, and we have a quality assurance process in place to make sure that we're doing that. But we really look at the comprehensiveness of what we're doing. So we do a lot of social activities, and we have recreation program. That's why we're involved in the Interfaith Council as well, so that we can get on faith communities. But we have, as far as our rec program goes, anything between a night out with a small group of people to overnight vacations to the Bahamas.
You get to go on those?
No, unfortunately, that's not my pay grade.
You miss out on those, huh?
I wish.
You get to go to the plays.
I get to go to the plays.
The recreational events, right?
Yes.
Well, you miss out on the Bahamas trip. Anything we can do to put a good word in for you for that, for the future? Let me know. We're going to take a break, come back. Please stay with us after these messages. We're going to come back and talk more, Joanne, about Community Access and the services they offer, not only for the residents of our city, but our county and state as well.
We're an American original, dependable, historic, nuanced, with all the comforts of home, even when you're just visiting. So we're celebrating for all that we've left untouched and all that we've changed. A place where the past meets the future. So consider this your invitation.
We've been celebrating here in Elizabeth for 350 years, and we're just getting started. Welcome back to our city, where I'm pleased to be joined by Joanne Appeld from Community Access. And Joanne, the members and their successes, sometimes everybody wants a pat on the back. You want to celebrate successes. How does Community Access celebrate success with their base clients?
Well, we do it informally through our process. We have formal recognition as well. In April, we hold Awards Night, which is a celebration of the accomplishments of our community partners, our staff, and our members as well. And then in May and June, we hold a Youth Achievement Night for the youth that we work with who are transitioning out of foster care, and a Performance Recognition Night for people who have developmental disabilities. And of course, and I know you've been here to our gala as well, where we recognize, the best of the best.
That's kind of changed. The fair is no longer open.
I know.
Where it was for years.
I know.
They changed the layout of that place. So the members, when we celebrate their success, and at least the events I've been at, I rarely see happier people.
Yes, yes.
They're excited.
They are excited, they're happy, they're involved. They love it when you come. They love meeting the legislators in their area and the mayors and the councilmen and freeholders and all of the people that make government work. They like hearing about legislative issues. We do a lot, and we want to thank you for your work in terms of explaining voting rights and legislation that comes up.
Well, and oftentimes people on the fringe of society are ignored by elected officials.
Yes.
Unfortunately so, but Community Access has always done a good job of encouraging the members to be part of the political process, however.
Yes, yes.
That's a real strength to the organization, and also a strength to the people, because when I go, they're asking you questions about neighborhood issues, so they're in tune.
Yes.
For lack of a better choice of words. So I want to go back to those plays and for a moment, the recreational events that you have for members. How many do you have a year? Just one play?
We have one play a year.
Okay.
We've done in past years. We've done Shrek Jr. or Seussical Jr. This year we're doing Aladdin Jr. So we're expecting a big turnout because that's quite a popular play. We do auditions in January.
Sid Blanchard audition for any of this stuff?
I wish.
Yeah.
I'd love to see him on stage.
That'd be interesting.
I'd love to see him with some of the Seussical makeup.
So the CAU community players and the theater production, they come together for this?
The CAU community players are the members who are involved in the community production. So we do auditions in January, and then we hold rehearsals from January to June, and the play is produced and performed in June in Springfield.
Joan, I'm also told that you have a school now, Community Access. Tell us about that.
Yes, the Academy for Continuing Education. It's actually housed in Cranford. It's meant for people who want to continue their education beyond high school or who want to refresh their skills. So you can get classes such as math or creative writing or reading, as well as courses in career opportunities or computer programming or financial literacy of some sort. And people can take as many or as few classes as they want. And it's a really good alternative for people with disabilities who often go into day programs because it gives them a choice as to how they're going to spend their day.
Where are those classes held, Joanne?
In Cranford. I'm not quite sure of the address.
Okay. And is there a fee for those, for the
Yes.
members? There is. The members pay a fee to go to these classes.
Yes.
And you talked about the Interfaith Council.
Yes.
So do they have a day of prayer, or do they have services?
They do.
Is it just one day a year? Tell us more about what they do on a daily basis or weekly.
A Union County Interfaith Coordinating Council. It's comprised of a lot of the faith communities in Union County and a lot of the nonprofits in Union County. In October, they hold a day of prayer, and they hold planning meetings throughout the year to get ready for that day of prayer. I think last year they had 600 people attend that, and they have Christian, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, all sorts of faith communities are involved in that. What it does is it really is a clearinghouse for services, for governmental services and nonprofit services that are available to people in the community, so that the churches are more informed and can form their congregants. Our faith communities, they're not all churches. And also a way to integrate marginalized people of all types, because often Muslims or Sikhs are marginalized as well, and really make a sense of community, again, emphasize our community integration.
Does Community Access work with other nonprofits in the area? And if they do, tell us about some of them.
We do. We just had a seminar on surviving fee-for-service that nonprofits were invited to get information on the changes, the financial changes that are coming up, the payment changes at the state level, and some of the steps that they need to take to really survive that. We are involved with the Union County Nonprofit Consortium. It is a group of executive directors who every year plan a conference to really try and enhance the organizational capacity of other nonprofits in the area. We also are involved with the Union County Youth Service Network, and that culminates in a conference, I think it's September or October of every year, where over 200 professionals come, and there's over 50 youth organizations from throughout Union County. And the purpose there is to really see where the gaps in services are for our youth, to talk about that and to see what can be done about that.
So the nonprofits, would you also call them community partners, or you have something outside the nonprofits called community partners as well?
Well, they are part of our community partners.
The same thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
nonprofits and the business community as well.
The headquarters, by the way, to me is impressive.
Thank
and
you.
I was just there for the ribbon cutting, a little more than a month back. Tell us about the new building, because I find the effort there fantastic.
Well, it's a state-of-the-art 5-story building. The staff offices are on floors 3 through 5. It's got state-of-the-art visuals. It's complete with an auditorium, cafeteria, overflow rooms. It can seat, probably with the auditorium, it has a stage between 400 and 450 people, railroad style. It can be subdivided into other rooms, but the purpose really was to create a central place where other people in the community or other organizations in the community can use that space when they need larger meeting space, as well as for our own purposes, for awards night and singles night and all of the other things that we do.
And tell us that headquarters is fantastic. How many people are employed by Community Access, not only there, but throughout the region?
We employ about 1,200 people.
Really?
Really, and we're always looking for new staff. We have full and part-time opportunities at all shifts. We have opportunities from a direct care worker to an RN to a accounting person to a person who does management, assistant directors and things like that. We're always looking for community partners in terms of business services and people who want to do business with us. We're always looking for donors. We're always looking for members who are in need of our services.
And does everybody pitch in on all that effort?
Yes.
They do?
Yes.
It's not a one-person operation. Everybody's kind of saying, hey, if you need help, let me know, I'll do it.
Well, what we believe in, again, is community access for all. And I guess I started with saying that we do that at the organizational level as well as at the individual level. And really what I mean is that by partnering from organization to organization, whether you're a nonprofit or nonprofit in business, you really extend the family and you really expand the mission. And it's not only us doing what we do, but it's the whole community getting involved.
So what kind of positions are you hiring for right now? You mentioned in generalities, but are there specific positions that...
Registered nurses, licensed professional nurses, or practical nurses. We always are in need of direct care workers, especially overnight shifts. Those are the two biggest needs that we have right now.
Joanne, why would you need overnight shifts? Do they stay in the units with the folks?
Yes.
Okay.
For people who need 24/7 care.
Okay, and so there'll be somebody actually in the unit and take care of these folks?
Yes.
Okay. And how do people contact Community Access?
Well, our website is www.cauNJ.org, or you can call us at 908-354-3040.
And Joanne, the Community Access, where do you see the future of Community Access going? Because we know that Sid started this in the back of his Volkswagen. You know that story, right?
Uh-huh.
Everybody knows that story. And it's grown to, you said, 1,200 employees.
1,200 employees.
And 8,000 clients statewide.
Yes.
Are there any clients outside of the state or strictly New Jersey operation?
We have a representative payee program where we have been designated as an organization by the Social Security Administration to manage someone's Social Security benefits and the bureaucracy basically that goes around that. And we have just started trying to infiltrate the Manhattan area.
So if you can, you do clients in Manhattan as well, and the headquarters will be in New Jersey.
Yes.
And Community Access is a fascinating organization. Is there room for growth in New Jersey?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And the growth would occur in the community access for people living in houses, or the growth would occur in an advocacy level, or both?
It would occur at the advocacy level. It would occur at the support level, probably in-home supports in some of the further counties away in New Jersey, because there are a lot of people, probably 100,000 people in New Jersey who have disabilities, who don't have the care or who don't qualify for state programs. And those people need services, and we want people to know that we're out there.
So Barbara, what's the best part of your job?
Oh, I love my job. Being with you.
Oh,
doing
you're
this.
so kind. You're so kind, Barbara. No, but you're a Navy brat, you said. So, and you worked there for 10 years and left for 5 and came back.
Yes.
So what made you come back? There had to be something to draw you back here.
What floats my boat is building, creating relationships, negotiating, all of those types of words. And when I was at Caring Contact, it was in trouble, and I turned it around, and there wasn't as much building and creating as there was operations. And I came back to Community Access. They're always growing. So I really get to put my skills to use in something that I just love to do.
So this is more exciting for you than dealing. Suicide prevention must be hard.
Oh, it is, and it was. I'm glad that I had that experience. I've learned a lot, and I loved my job there. It's just that when Sid approached me about this job, I couldn't refuse it.
Well, Joanne, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us on the show this evening, and appreciate all of your insight to Community Access, as well as the hard work in your ability to make housing and advocacy available to those that some may be on the fringe of society. Thank you.
Thank you.
For Joanne Oppeld, Community Access Unlimited here, headquartered in the city of Elizabeth, I'm Chris Bolwage. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.
Offering everything you could want from college, including a life. CAU University.
Welcome to another edition of Our City. A few things going around the city of Elizabeth this week. On Wednesday, October 25th, around 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to attend a ribbon cutting ceremony for Metropolitan Dermatology, a new doctor's office opening up in the city of Elizabeth at 469 Morris Avenue. And later that evening at 7 o'clock, the YWCA's annual Empty Place at the Dinner Table. The event will be held at CAU University in the Miron Student Center. It's located at 1000 Morris Avenue. The YWCA comes together every October and puts on a play about empty plate at the table, honoring those victims of domestic violence during the past year. On Saturday, October 28th at 11 o'clock, I'm going to join members of the Department of Health and Human Services for a breast cancer awareness class. It's going to be held at the Miller Evans Logan Recreational Center, 161-163 First Street. For more information on this class, please contact 908-820-4246.
This spin class is extremely exciting, and the people work out really hard, as there's also an educational opportunity for breast cancer awareness during the month of October. If you need more information concerning these events or any other events, please call our Public Information Office at 908-820-4124. Please stay with us after these messages. We're going to talk about community access and the great work they do in our city.
Offering everything you could want from college, including a life. CAU University.
Welcome back to our city, where I'm pleased to be joined by Miss Joanne Opeld, the Assistant Executive Director of Business Development at Community Access Unlimited. Joanne, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thanks for coming back, too, by the way.
Had a good time last time. Thought I'd try it out again.
And Sharon Moray.
Hi.
How are you, Sharon?
Very good.
And you're a member of the Community Access Unlimited
yes,
Agency.
for 26 years.
26 years. And we're going to talk about some of the opportunities you've had there in a few minutes.
Okay.
Thanks for coming on, Sharon.
Thank you.
So, Joanne, welcome back to the show. You've been with Community Access for how long now?
10 years.
10. So please tell our viewers, some may be unfamiliar with what the good work you do, what exactly the agency does.
Well, we support people with disabilities, all kinds of disabilities, to live in the community and to give back so that they can become productive, tax-paying citizens who are members of their neighborhoods, members of their community, and we do everything from housing to recreation to advocacy to life skills training to employment skills training.
And Sharon, you are the first time on the show, right?
Yes, I'm a little nervous.
So don't worry about it, Sharon, so am I. So tell us, Sharon, a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in community access.
I like the people. I got in the agency. I'm there 26 years. I like the people. I like the councils. I like my friends.
And it's a good social opportunity for you
Yes,
as well.
I go on activities with the rec events and everything.
So how do you work with Joanne?
We're buddies.
We're buddies for 15 years.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. And Joanne, National Disability Employment Awareness Month is October or November?
It's in October.
Okay.
It was established by Congress in 1945, and it's a time to really celebrate both the contributions that people with disabilities can make to the workplace environment, as well as celebrate the employers who hire people with disabilities and have a very diverse workforce.
And how do you do that with drying up of federal dollars? It gets more and more difficult, doesn't it?
Well, people with disabilities have a lot to give, and the kinds of jobs that they have run the gamut from anything people without disabilities can do. So they do scientists or researchers or retail or back office or maintenance or whatever kind of job there is out there. And what studies have found is that, number one, their retention is longer, so employers don't have so many overhead costs in terms of people leaving and retraining costs, that there's a better safety rate. People with disabilities are more conscious of safety issues than not, so there's less worker compensation claims and things like that. And that once they do their job, they do it very, very well. The quality of their work is excellent. So with the minor accommodations that a person with disabilities might need, employers are finding it really, really, really in their best interest that it hits the bottom line to employ people with disabilities.
And Sharon, I see the ShopRite shirt you have on.
Yeah,
So
I've been there 20 years.
You've worked for the ShopRite for 20 years.
Yes.
In which one?
I'm in Clark.
You're in Clark. And what do you do there for 20
I
years?
work in returns, and if they didn't have me, there wouldn't be no returns.
You make sure the returns get back in the right spot, right?
Right.
20 years.
Yes.
And did you get that job with the help of Community Access?
Yes, I did.
You did. That's pretty good. So you like it
And
over there?
I got a buddy at ShopRite. I got Laura for 20 years. She's my buddy.
And she helps you out there?
Yes, if I didn't have Laura or Donna make, I wouldn't have my job.
And they help you facilitate every day?
Yeah, and I'm a good worker. I'm a great worker.
You ever miss? You're always there, huh?
I'm mostly there and on time and everything.
Good for you, Sharon. So, Joanne, how many disabled individuals are part of the workforce? Do you have those numbers, or mostly in Union County, or?
Well, nationally, there's about 18 million people with disabilities, about 25% of the workforce.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And recognizing people with disabilities, which we do during this month, is it important, and what kind of social aspect does that convey upon them?
Yes, it is, because it kind of allows for equal status, and it recognizes their contributions being just as important as the contributions of people without disabilities, whatever kind of disability they have. You remember A Beautiful Mind, and they had a mental health disability, but he contributed a lot to society. So it's not necessarily always obvious that somebody has a disability. What companies have also found is that in this time of the millennials, where there's a lot of corporate values are important to millennials as well as to other people, but particularly to millennials, is that people with employers with a diverse workforce tend to have higher employee satisfaction as well as customer satisfaction.
And on that issue, what are the benefits to the employers for hiring people with disabilities?
Well,
you talked about how they don't have a high turnover rate.
Yep. They're dedicated. They love their jobs. They're there for a long period of time. They help the morale in the diversity of the place, like I just mentioned. There are also some tax credits available, or some tax advantages available, depending on the type of accommodations that need to be made.
And hiring people with disabilities, are most businesses open to that, or is it a struggle sometimes?
Sometimes it's a struggle because they mistakenly believe that it will cost more in terms of health care benefits or in terms of the accommodations that they need to make. But again, they found that those are unfounded, so that businesses who are really open to having people with disabilities are really finding it in their best interest to do that.
So Joanne, tell me how you do that. How do you approach a business owner and say, you know, I have some folks, they have this disability, and we'd like you to hire them, or we'd like you to give them an opportunity?
Well, we go through our employment department, and they make connections with the employers in the community. We have a pretty large community network of employers that we work with. They tell us when they're hiring and what they look for, and we act as the broker between what the person with disabilities wants to do and what the employer is looking for, and kind of make that match. Then we take the person with disabilities, and before we present them to the employer, we train them, we give them job coaches, we give them some job sampling, so it's a really good match, so that hopefully somebody will stay there for a long period of time, and it will be satisfactory on both sides of the table. And then when we make a match, voila, we get somebody who's been at ShopRite for 20 years. I think Sharon came in through our employment program.
Yeah, I'm excited to be on my job for 20 years.
And Sharon,
And I love my job.
Sharon, what are your hours? Do you work during the day, you work nights, or after?
I work every Sunday.
Every Sunday you work there. What?
11 to 5.
11 to 5 on
And
Sundays.
6 hours.
6 hours.
And I get time and a half, and I love that.
So you work every Sunday.
Yes.
11 to 5, and you handle all the returns
Yes.
that come in. And is the store crowded on Sundays?
Yes.
Yeah. A lot of people there on Sundays, huh?
Yeah, and I have a lot of friends in the agency, like Danielle. I've been her friend for 17 years, and I have a friend, Mary, that is very nice to me. So I'm happy.
Very good. Very good. So Joanne, how do we change the perceptions of the business community? That must be a struggle all the time to say, hey, so-and-so is just as good as the other person and can do a job and is probably going to stay with you longer.
I think it's getting people out in the community, getting on public shows like this one where Sharon can come and tell her story, where to get in touch with, go to workplaces who are diverse, for example, Wawa, Walmart, Swan Motel, those types of places who employ people with disabilities, to really see them in action and to really get to know people with disabilities. They can be any age. As you age, your chances of having a disability are higher than when you're younger, and really getting rid of the typical stereotypes in terms of attending events or any type of contact that we can have that integrates people with disabilities and people without disabilities, to get rid of that stigma of having a disability, because it's really nothing more than a health problem, that we all have health problems.
Well, the business community is always reluctant to move in that direction, though.
They are, but again, there's the safety issues are better. There's less workman's comp with people with disabilities. There's less. Once people are accommodated to their job, they're there for a long period of time. Employers are finding it really cost beneficial to hire with people with disabilities.
How many members of Community Access do you think you have employed?
Oh gosh, probably around 100.
Has that number increased over the years since you've been doing this, or?
It has. As the agency has grown, so has our member base. We call the people that we serve members, and they go out into the community. We also, we've grown, which is the main reason why we do this. We also employ about 7%. We have a workforce of about 1,100 people, and about 7% of them are people with disabilities.
So Sharon, tell me what a normal day is like for you at ShopRite. What do you do when you get there? Do you punch a clock?
I punch in. Then I go in the internet and get my cart, and then I start doing the returns.
And do you do it in one location, or do you go up and down the aisles with the returns?
I go up and down, then I go and get it out of the bins, and then I go on the floor and do the returns.
And you do this all day?
Yes.
For 6 hours?
For 15-minute break, and then I go back and do it again.
Okay. What do you do on your break, Sharon?
Just relax and have something to eat.
Okay. And do you live in Clark?
No, I live in Elizabeth. I travel by bus all the time when I go to work.
So you get on a bus and you're always on time, and you get to Clark to work?
Yeah.
Okay. And you take a bus home?
Yes.
Okay.
I like to travel. That's my thing.
You like it a lot?
Yes, I do.
So, do you do anything else? Any other jobs, Sharon, or that's just it?
I go to a day program, Daybreak. That I like that. I got friends there, and I got counselors there. The best one is Evie and Felicia, and the coordinator.
So what do you do during the day program?
I play bingo. I do arts and craft.
What's your favorite?
Arts and craft.
That's your favorite?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your favorite thing in work? Is it when you stock the shelves or put the returns up? Is there anything you're like, I wonder why all of this came back, or wonder why that came back?
When it came back yesterday, it was so busy.
Tell me about that.
It was filled up to the top, and then she gave me cans to put on the shelf. It was so busy. When I got home, I was so tired I went to sleep.
Do you rather be busy at work, or?
Yes, it keeps me good.
So the busy days go faster?
Yes.
That's good.
Then I punch out and I go home.
And you take the bus. Where's the bus get you? Right near the ShopRite?
Yes.
Right there at the corner there?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to run some commercials, and then we're going to come back and talk more about not only your job, but community access as well after these commercials.
Okay.
Okay. Please stay with us after these messages. We'll be back more about community access and employment opportunities for the disabled here in the city of Elizabeth.
We're an American original. Dependable, historic, nuanced. With all the comforts of home, even when you're just visiting. So we're celebrating for all that we've left untouched and all that we've changed. A place where the past meets the future. So consider this your invitation.
We've been celebrating here in Elizabeth for 350 years, and we're just getting started. Welcome back to our city, where I'm joined by Joanne and Sharon from Community Access. And Joanne, I want to pick up with you. Who else works with Community Access Unlimited members? Who else employs members? We know ShopRite does. Who else do you work with?
Swan Motel is one, Target, Walmart. There is a member who works in an animal shelter up in Essex County. So it's a variety of places.
Tell us what some of those members do. I mean, do they clean at the Swan Motel, or they work in the office? What do some of these folks do?
Yes, at the Swan Motel, they're part of the cleaning crew and clean the rooms and change the sheets and those sorts of things. At the animal shelter, they calm the animals and clean the pens and things like that. At Walmart, they're greeters. At Target, they're sales associates.
So it's a different.
It's whatever. We've had people work at, Burger King and McDonald's before and be food servers, or work in cleaning areas as well. We have people at the office, at the Community Access office, who are part of secretarial, who do the shredding and do some of the filing and things like that. So
some of the folks actually work at Community Access.
About
as well.
7% of our workforce is people with disabilities.
Sharon, so tell me what your boss thinks of you.
She loves me. She loves me. I do a good job for her. If she don't tell me what to do, I do it on my own.
So you don't need direction. You'll go in and do it on your own.
Yes.
Not everybody's like that, Sharon.
Right.
Some people just sit around.
They call me the best. They call me Queen R. That's Queen of the Return.
Queen R. You like that nickname?
Yeah. Laura calls me that.
Oh, yeah? Queen R.
Yeah, Laura and Debbie calls me that.
Well, Laura and Debbie, even if they don't live in Elizabeth, they can watch this show on YouTube.
Yeah, they're gonna.
They're gonna do that.
Yeah.
Especially when you mention their names.
Yeah.
Right? So there must be a preparation aspect to your job as well, Joanne, in working with some of the clients to prepare them to find the jobs and what to do. I mean, Sharon's there 20 years, but I'm sure the first time she went there, she was probably a little nervous.
Yeah.
How do you overcome
that?
I was. How do you overcome that, Sharon, the nervous part when you first started there?
I just talk to somebody or just calm down.
Yeah, because you said you were nervous coming on the show, but you're doing fine.
Yeah.
You're like a star.
I've never been on TV.
No.
You are now. You can't say that anymore.
Scratch that off the box, right?
Yeah.
So, Joanne, how do you work with folks in preparation for them to achieve assimilation into a job?
So somebody will come in and we will do a vocational skills assessment and a life skills assessment and a survey to find out what the goals and the values and the interests are, as well as what the skills are. And then we will work with them on if they need some help with interpersonal skills, or if they need some help with resume writing, or if they need some help with interviewing skills. We give them vocational skills education. We have an academy for continuing education where they can pick up some work-related skills in theater or jewelry making or math or reading or something like that. And then we also have a job sampling program where they can go out with a support counselor and sample a job for 2 to 6 weeks and pick a job that way. There's job coaching where once a person is hired, a job coach from Community Access will go with them to the work site and help them to integrate into the rhythm of the workplace and be able to do their job. That can last for however long it needs to last for, and then there's follow along as well. So what we really try to do is make it as easy as possible for both the person with the disabilities and the employer to make the optimal match so that they can continue in a long-term relationship.
So in that process, it's a process of trust as well.
Yes.
Yeah, it has to work both ways. Sharon, you told me about your supervisor, but so when you're not working, you were telling me during the break that you go to a place called Medieval Times.
Yeah, with the agency.
With the agency you've gone to.
Every month. I really like that. That's my favorite event.
But you had to eat with your hands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I went there once and they didn't give you a fork or a knife.
And I'm saving up to go to Walt Disney in May.
Really?
Yes.
That'll be fun.
I love Walt Disney.
Yeah, so do I.
want to go to Walt Disney.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
With a friend.
Yeah, you got to wear a lot of sunscreen.
Yeah.
It gets really hot there. How can employers, Joanne, work with you to hire members?
Well, they can call the agency, 908-354-3040. They can get a hold of me, Joanne Oppelt. They can also get a hold of Frida McKinney, who is our Assistant Executive Director of Employment, and we will be happy to explore relationships with them. Right now, we are working with the Gateway Regional Chamber of Commerce in terms of trying to set up business relationships and networking opportunities. I'm working with Citicor, who's trying to bring jobs back into New Jersey that have been outsourced overseas. There might be a pipeline of employment opportunities for people in Union County, particularly people with disabilities, because they're interested in doing a diverse workforce. I'm also working with a newly formed foundation called the Scarlett Foundation. It is set up by Scarlett Ryan Marketing firm, and their idea is to pay it forward. They work with small businesses as their specialty, and a lot of small businesses can't afford their marketing. So what their idea is to have a grant to the small businesses for the marketing, and then have the business give back to the community, particularly to youth who are involved in the child welfare system, to have internship opportunities and to have mentoring opportunities and to have job opportunities for those people. So we're very interested in innovative things like the Scarlett Foundation is doing. We're also interested in traditional things, just if people want to employ people with disabilities in whatever jobs are already there.
So do employers provide you with a work schedule they're looking to fill, and how many hours do members typically work a week? And we know Sharon works every Sunday. Is that the norm, or is it longer or shorter?
It varies. It really varies. Yes, it's whatever the employer is looking for. Sometimes it's 25 hours a week, sometimes it's 40 hours a week, sometimes it's 1 day a week, sometimes it's part-time 3 days a week. It really depends on what job is needed to do for the employer.
And that usually works out well when you go back to the clients and say, hey, we got this hour for 6 days a week, or this for 3 days a week. And so what's the longest amount of time a member of Community Access has worked at a location? 20 years. Is anybody at a location longer than that?
I don't think so.
No, I'm the first one, Joanne.
Yeah.
You're the first one in this program 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? And they've liked you ever since.
Yeah.
Right?
Why don't you tell them about your 20th anniversary, what they did for you at ShopRite?
Oh, for the 20-year anniversary, they had a luncheon for me in New York. They had a lunch, like chicken and stuff, and they gave me a certificate, and then they gave me a prize to pick out. I got a duffel bag. They really gave me something real nice.
In New York was the lunch?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
And who went?
I got a picture taken with the people 20 years. And the picture's in my house, and it's on my TV stand.
So the employees who've worked for the company for 20 years, you were with all of them?
Yes.
And how was that?
Really good.
Where was the luncheon in New York?
I'm not sure, but it was in New York.
It was in. So you all went over
My
there.
friend took me that I know for 20 years, Phyllis. She took me.
Okay. Phyllis is another one's got to watch
Yeah,
this show.
for 20 years I
You
know
mentioned
her.
them all, Sharon.
Yeah.
You got them all in there. They all got an honorable mention.
And I have a friend in community access, Michelle Razov. I've been her friend for 32 years.
Very good. Did you grow up in Elizabeth?
No.
No?
Hoboken.
Hoboken, okay. So what kind of events does Community Access Unlimited sponsor as well as participate in?
We, well, the Disability Employment Awareness Month, the National Independent Living Conference, you know, trade organizations, things like that. We also have a gala coming up on November 2nd.
I'm going to that.
Which is about 600
Good,
people.
so am I.
People with disabilities, people without disabilities. We have a number of events throughout the year. If people are more interested in our events, I would suggest calling us. Ask for me, Joanne Oppelt. Our number is 908-354-3040. I'm extension 4209. Or you can go to our website, www.cauNJ.org.
Joanne, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us on the show and talk with us about community access. And good luck in this program. I think it's terrific that you work with employers throughout the agency in order to get clients jobs. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Sharon, you were an enjoyable aspect of all of the shows I've done. You explain not only what you do every day, but how you get accomplished. And your biggest attribute is you're always on time for work.
Thank you.
So thank you for coming on TV for the first time.
Okay.
And make sure all of these women you mentioned watch the shows.
Okay.
Because it's the only time they're going to get a plug on TV, right? Thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome.
Thank you. For Sharon Morey, Joanne Oppelt, I'm Chris Ballwage. We'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.
Sometimes you learn by helping others learn. CAU University.